And that's welcome to SoCal Joe Show stream a numbered dose. I am your host, Chet Maddox, as always, looking sexy. That's what I do. You know that, Mr. Storm?
Absolutely. Hey,
Hey,
I always love whenever there's a technical problem and we actually get through it
yeah,
and we make it even better, man. So,
that's true.
we knew what was going on,
We did.
So, hey, you get the second one and it's even better this
Yeah.
time around.
Well, hey, look over here. Look, watch.
There you go.
There's the floor, and here is the Oddfrog.
Yeah.
Look at those guys just sitting over there.
Yeah.
Woo 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 woo.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, so we had technical difficulties, right?
Yeah, yep, just a little bit.
And I guess our live stream is frozen now.
Well, I don't know. We'll check that out. It could be just on the actual thing. We're gonna have the Odd Frog guys check it out for us. Are we live, brothers?
Looks like we're not frozen again, though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think it's just whenever there's some form, it could be just
I don't know. Hey, if you're watching,
yeah, let us know.
Sarlacc, let us know. Yeah, we're not frozen on Sarlacc's end, so
Yeah,
we're
no.
good.
It just what, it could be just because we're just inside the point. But hey, thanks for joining Starlac. Knowing that you guys are getting ready for your Star Wars trivia up at Better Days in Apple Valley. So we're looking forward to
Apple
that.
Valley, yeah. So we were gonna do walk around, but there's too much
Yeah.
technical difficulty happening right now. So we are actually getting somebody.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Josh
from the After Action Reports,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
he's gonna explain. We're gonna put his headphones on and everything. We're running this live, and the event's kind of tuning down, but it's still good. It's still great. Everything else is working extremely fine.
Hey,
So,
Josh, you can hear us, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
okay.
you gotta talk into this bad boy. There you go.
Yeah.
Hello.
There you go.
There it is. All
We
right, let's
got
bring
you.
him on. Let's bring him on.
All
There he
right.
is. There he is.
We got Josh from the After Action Report, and if you guys don't know, it is probably one of the premier GI Joe. I say almost like a Bible if you want to know anything. Josh, let the people know what it is and also where to find you. But also remember, talking to the mic.
So, After Action Report is a series of books. Basically, the first three are comic guides to help
Okay.
you track. Goes from 1982 to 2022, and then the second series is in the picture here. Is command files, and so these are character guidebooks. These books are all unofficial, and we basically use all the the idea is to help educate the fans, right?
Uh-huh.
So you learn all about the characters, you learn all about the comics, you can help them collect their collector guidebooks like that. And so right now we have a Kickstarter going for volume 2. This is volume 1 of the character guidebook. So most GI Joe fans are toy first and then comic or cartoon, right? But really the characters are what drive it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why are there 100 Snake Eyes characters or toys? Because he's a cool character.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we have tried to do with our series of books is, emphasize the comics, which of course, with Larry writing those, he has made amazing characters and amazing stories that have really propelled GI Joe to where we are today.
Mhm.
But it's a toy first. Hasbro, is a toy company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so with our books, that's really what we've tried to do is try to give everybody a chance to learn about the comic books, learn about the characters, and they're all 144 pages. This one is actually 180 pages.
Okay.
Dang,
This
that's
is
a
the
lot.
volume 1. So that's kind of the brief summary of what we do with After Action Report.
Okay, now Josh, if they want to actually get it, where did it? Now I see you got your URL on the shirt. So
Oh, there you go. Look
there
at
you
that.
go. There you go.
AfterActionReport.net.
Also,
right.
everyone's saying there's too much Chet happening, and that's never gonna happen.
Oh
So
no.
yeah. So
All right.
hey, so I noticed you had bundles. Is that like I saw that you had all the books for 200?
Yes.
Is that okay?
So, you know, me and my co-author Roger Taft started this in 2020, and we've run Kickstarters for every book,
Okay.
and then they've all been successful.
All
And
right.
you know, it's now 2025, so we're on our 7th book. So that's what the bundles
All
do. It's
right.
like, you know, we've been able to crank them out pretty well. And of course, that, you know, a lot of people back them as Kickstarter, so they get them one at a time.
Yeah.
But we're still running into people who don't have any of them, so we bundle them. So you get 6 books for 200, or you can buy them individually if you want.
Yeah, and I noticed like there's other sites. So if you're into anything that 3D Joes are doing, then you definitely want to get the after action report because it's just as essential with the information. And in fact, it expands it even more because again, 3D Joes is just giving you the toys, but no, this
Right.
is giving you just comics, the cartoons, the toys, whatever you're involved in. This is all catch around. So that's what makes this a little bit of a better volume. And especially if you're getting the 7 books, you're almost getting like, all the information for if you're an old fan or you're a new fan, you can still discover something that you didn't know or you can rediscover it again.
Yeah, I mean, each one of our books has interviews with the key people that were doing something, you know, like Larry Hama or,
Yeah.
you know, Ron Rudat for our next upcoming book, because we did a big interview because he helped create all the
Yep.
characters and stuff
Yep.
like that. You know, and so the I guess, you know, like Carson's book, he has a Kickstarter that's just super successful now. It's Field
Yeah.
Guide, and
Mhm.
his big massive one, and then Dan
Yeah.
Klingensmith with his books. You know, so those are more toy oriented.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you know, so that's what, you know, our books honestly hardly even reference the toy other
Good.
than the character
Mhm.
or the comic,
Yeah.
but of course it's all part of it. And you know, everybody's covering, all these people are making books, GI Joe, and you know, things like that all over the place
Mhm.
for all kinds of different stuff. And what I've started to realize is that, like, this is like the history of our fandom, you know,
Yeah.
the things that we love. You guys love this too, and it's like,
Absolutely.
you know, even if we're not, you know, a toy collector, like I actually just collect comics, but I don't really collect Joe toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but you know, everybody still needs to know all this stuff, and this is something that I've is very interesting, is because the books and the archiving and the, like, what with Carson, and you know, getting the artwork to look
Yeah.
all perfect
Mhm.
is the future of what historians will look back at. Like, they'll look
Absolutely.
at this, because
Yeah.
you know, the thing is that we're all in our 40s and 50s now, and this is what we want to do. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? We want to sit
Right.
here at a Joe convention on a Sunday on May 4th, instead of doing something Star Wars, we're gonna go do GI Joe.
No offense, Starlight guys.
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
you're watching. We
Hey,
love you guys.
I've been to Celebration several
Yeah.
times, but I chose to be here today.
Yeah.
And that's the best part of it. And you're right, it does extend fandom, and that's all. Again, if you can know a little bit more about the comics, know a little bit more about the cartoon show, because again, the best part of it, if you're looking for the real American heroes, the GI Joe show, you can watch them all free on Tubi. And so this book is an actual pretty good companion guide to it too, because I know one of the things I'm gonna catch off for GI Joe, and he'll tell you. I know the cartoon shows. I read most of the Larry Hama run. Didn't do the IDW, and I'm now doing the Skybound run that
Right.
he's doing. So I can hear an episode, and I can hear just from the dialogue, and he'll tell you I've been at his house, and I'll be like, oh, that's from this episode, or that's from this, because I've just watched them 100 times. But there are fans that just slightly remember what those shows were.
Right.
Mhm.
And now with this actual just detailed item that they could get, it will help them explore more of that fandom and actually re-invoke their love of the show, and actually may get you into the comic more, because I know look, Larry Hama has a adulting run. It's almost close to now 400 books. It's getting close to that. So if you go back, it's like, well, I don't want to start and read all this stuff again. Can I break it down? That's why your book is absolutely so important in the 7 volumes that follow it, man. So
Yeah.
you know,
And for especially the IDW era, which was
yeah.
12 years,
Mhm.
it's 155 and a half to 300 plus a few extras. Like we included a summary of each one. Like we didn't really do that for the Marvel era because
Yeah,
most people pretty know the stories. But
absolutely.
the
Mhm.
IDW, even me as a collector, like you buy it, you read it, you put it in the box, you kind of forget about it, and then there's
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's not the love of reading it many times like you did when we were kids. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
So that's why we spent a lot of time putting the summary for the IDW era in
Mhm.
there. And so then if you you get our book and read it, you can follow the story for
Yeah.
like for the people who didn't do IDW but are getting back into it. And of course, I think it just hit 315.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Skybound is keeping
Mhm.
it going.
They are.
They've committed to doing it as long as Larry will do it, and Larry will do it as long as he's
As long as
alive.
he keeps
Yeah,
happening. Yep.
as long as he can write and talk into something or whatever. I don't know
Yeah,
how he
that's
does
true.
it, but
Yeah.
because he doesn't really write scripts, in terms of like the way other writers do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well documented that he just makes it up as he goes along.
Yeah. Well,
So
again, you're he's generally one of the fathers of the real
Yeah.
American hero. So,
yeah,
who's going to tell him what rules he can do?
right.
So again, like I said, they go to afteractionreports.net.
Yep.
Like I said, they all the items up there. And are you planning any more Kickstarters?
So the current Kickstarter for the Command Files Volume 2, its nickname is Support Elements. The Volume 1 is A Teams, and it covers the second half of the GI Joe squad basically. And we throw in the October Guard, no Cobra characters.
Okay.
That will be Volume 3.
Mhm.
And of course, I think there's like 280 GI Joes. So
Oh, yeah.
between
Yeah.
the two of them, I think it's like 110 in the first one and 130 or 40
Mhm.
in the second one. And that Kickstarter is running right now. So if you go to Kickstarter and search Command Files or After Action Report, you'll find it right away. And right now there's 3 GI Joe related Kickstarters. The Transformers Compendium with Skybound is almost done. Carson's Field Guide is running, and then ours just started. So
Okay.
you got a lot of
Mhm.
money that you can spend
Yeah.
on Kickstarters. But like I said, as we've talked about, they all cover different things. And the Skybound Compendiums, I don't know if you guys got last year's.
I
G.I.
actually
Joe
did. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, those turned out amazing. It's
They
a lot
did.
of money.
Yeah.
But when they arrived, I was like, okay, I'm glad I got it. And I feel the same way because the GI Joe is very much in those Transformers.
Exactly.
compendiums.
Absolutely.
Both in the UK stories as well as the American stories.
Mhm.
So that's been a key part of the whole double franchises and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always like to brag. The Transformers might be bigger than GI Joe, but the money in 1982
Yep.
that GI Joe made, they went over to Japan and bought Transformers.
Absolutely. Like I said, the military guys got some robots and everything
Yeah.
due to that.
Yep.
All right. Well, Josh, what we would do is, like I said, we'll put that link in our description. And like I said, man, head over to Kickstarter. Make sure that you guys are supporting that. And then head over to the website and support it. Get those 7 volumes. And we thank you for stopping by, sir. We will keep you up. We'll have you on Toy Box Chronicles one night.
All
Yeah.
right. I appreciate it, guys. And yo, Joe.
There it is.
Yo, Joe.
Thank
That's
you,
awesome.
Josh.
Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good one, guys.
You
All
too.
right. All right. Well, like I said, again, this is the kind of thing that kind of goes on when we're rolling through. We get great books, great volumes, great situations to do. The show is one of those things where look, there's been a lot of great. Kind of show you want to go to. You want to go to the show where like the items are at. A lot of vintage stuff.
Yeah.
There was they just released or a pre-order for the Cobra Claw that's on the classified. Well, there was an actual Cobra Claw vintage in box that was here. A couple of the pack rats, one an actual sealed pack rat from the Real American Hero that had never been opened.
For Forbidden Planet, who is literally right over there,
Yeah.
is talking about how we're live.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is this is what we do, man. This is what we
I
do.
was saying Sarlacc Digest said there was way too much Chet, which I'm telling you doesn't exist.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know,
And we just want to do a quick little camera swapperoonie, just kind of show everybody. We are kind of, it is kind of, what is it? This ends at 3, so we got about an hour and a half left.
Yeah, it's it's at the point, but here's the best point too. At this point of the show, and let's give a little bit of toy show 101 right here. You if you're gonna go and attend the show, you want to kind of get down to when it actually starts dying down, because
it's the best. I mean, unless the only disadvantage to that is that you miss out on some like grails. What's going on?
I'm trying to see if we can get Jamie Sullivan over here.
Oh, well, you can just talk out loud.
Oh, well, I know you were talking. I didn't want to.
No, just talk out loud.
Let's see if we get Jamie.
No,
over here.
This is live. You just talk out loud.
You know what? It's like when we do Tour Bike Chronicles, it's a whole different thing. When we're doing the live stuff, it's completely different. But we're gonna see. We're gonna try to see if we can get the artist, one of the cover artists to any of the recent GI Joe books that you've been seeing on the markets. He is a fantastic artist of that. He also has done some work for Harmony Gold and Macross, and he's just a good human being. We're going to try to see what we got over. There's also a couple of customizers as well that these guys. And let me tell you something. So we were talking about the 101.
Yeah.
Toy Show 101. So like at the end of the show, the one thing that a lot of these toy guys want to do is in no way, shape, or form do they want to take something home.
That is correct. Yeah.
So if at that point, this is the best point in negotiation, is towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And all right, okay, we're gonna have all around.
We do have Jamie Sullivan coming in.
Jamie Sullivan.
Hey, welcome in. Grab some headphones. The mic is a little short, so you got to kind of just. You got to kind of lean into the mic. I don't know what happened to the cable. Got really short.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, Jamie, let's turn on the camera and get Jamie Sullivan on. Look at that.
All right.
Still double Chet, but at least Jamie's on.
A long time been trying to get him on. Our schedule is always kind of off. So it's for the first time, I'm glad that we got you on and we got you on live.
Yeah.
First of all, Jamie, we've been telling everybody your accolades. We tell them all the time.
Yeah.
It's like one of the premier GI Joe artists, always does great. I own several of his prints at his house, so I'm gonna be a little unbiased on this. But also the work that you've done on the Harmony Gold and the Robotech series as well. And I know the last time we were talking about is like original property that you said you were going to do. So we'll save that for the moment. First of all, now I see it says jamiesullivan.net. So
yeah. So I had a website, and it was just I wasn't thinking about when I picked the name originally.
Yeah.
And jamiesullivan.net just seemed like a much easier. jamiesullivan.com was taken. It didn't lead anything, but so .net was available, and I was like, you know what, I'll just get this. But yeah, I have a website. You get prints there.
Exactly.
T-shirts, all kinds of fun stuff. It's got links to all my social media accounts.
Now here's the thing that I do know about your social media accounts, because I do troll you, brother. So yeah, you're on. We can hear you.
All right.
It's on Facebook. I noticed there's always one where you put up artwork, and there's always a mad bid at claim. Whenever you put up some artwork. Now that normally takes place on your Facebook site.
Yeah. So Instagram, it's funny. I have almost as many followers on Instagram as I do on Facebook.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just don't get as much engagement on Instagram. People don't really buy anything, or they don't comment. On Facebook, I get comments, conversations.
Yeah.
People buy. It's strange. It's strange.
Well,
and then I have Threads and Twitter and all that. And, nobody.
And the one killer of it is every time I try to do it, and I don't care. You could put it on for I could be like 6 minutes late, and I see claim. It's like,
that's
man,
surprising. There's sometimes I have pieces of art up there that sit up there for a year.
Yeah, every time I've done it, it's always been claimed. I'm like, oh, great. And usually it's one like it's like a snake eyes piece or something else like that. I'm like, oh man, that's like
yeah, a lot of times it's the popular
of
characters,
course, of course,
go right away. Like if I draw a Baroness, like
yep,
yeah, it's a no-brainer.
There's a couple of key things. Now, one of the things we wanted to actually point light to, and I think that this is the one that you and I have talked about this extensively, is a couple of health elements that you've been going through.
Oh,
and we know you have a GoFundMe page, and we want to make sure that people understand it's out there. Like when you're a professional artist, a lot of these, your insurance, all the things you have to do is you're basically an independent contractor.
You're 1099.
Yeah. So
it's you don't get like, I mean, there are perks to being an independent contractor, being self-employed, but
obviously.
Then again, there are a lot of pitfalls too.
Yeah.
One of them is, really good health insurance is hard to come by, and it's very expensive, and it doesn't cover everything. And the problem that I'm having, the health problem that I'm having right now, though, some of the doctors I've talked to, it doesn't really matter the level of insurance I've had. They've all said it would be elective. They've all said it would be an elective surgery. I do have doctors trying their hardest to get that overturned. But we're on our 4th appeal right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean the GoFundMe that I have going. First of all, it's kind of a shame that in this country that, because I'm not the only one. There's a ton of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That have to have GoFundMes to pay for medical procedures, and it's kind of ludicrous.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this or not. And say what you will about Gavin Newsom, but I believe it was 3 weeks ago, introduced a bill to Congress here in California that if you're a California citizen and you have insurance and your doctor tells the insurance company you need to have a procedure and it's medically necessary, the insurance can't deny it.
Good.
They have to.
Good.
They have to pay
for
it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that also helps too is that actually when number one, put your GoFundMe, give your information out so people know where to go.
Oh my goodness! The best way to get there is any of my social media, because the GoFundMe link
is super
is
long.
like ludicrous.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I wish I could say like it's GoFundMe.JamieSaw, but it's not.
It would be.
All
right, so why don't we do this? If you're on,
so what we're gonna do actually is we'll go in and we'll create a short link for you to give people,
URL,
and then you can just use that and send people there. Well, we pay for that stuff, so we'll make one for you.
Oh, cool.
And then that way you can have it. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Now, also one of the things is every time they purchase something, you being an independent contractor, that does it. So it's not that like, when I think there's artists out there that like, they think that the money's going someplace else. This is basically, one of the best sources of income if you want to give back directly to the artist. Because I think a lot of people think when we're purchasing the books, that is that's going, well, no, not all of that goes to you guys are paid contractors, and that's why when you see artists at conventions sketching, having prints and everything, that's when you want to support the artist, because that is the chance to get money directly to them.
So we get paid to draw the cover. I mean, we're work for hire. It's a contract. Buying the book does support us, because the more people that buy the book, the more popular you are, the more work you get. So yes, I do deeply appreciate it when I do a cover for either a store or for Skybound or whatever, and people buy it. I mean, I deeply appreciate that, because it just shows them that I'm an artist in demand, so they want me to do other stuff. So yes, that is awesome. But yes, coming and buying a print or having me do a sketch for you or something like that is awesome. And a lot of times too, like you're talking about the GoFundMe, is some of the times I'll say specifically like I'm doing this at a show, and the proceeds from that will benefit the GoFundMe. Now I've noticed that there's some people out there that won't do this on their GoFundMes, but Aaron will specifically put that this person bought this at a show, and we'll put it down as an offline donation, so it counts towards the total.
Great.
So I mean, we do add that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now here's one of the things that I know you've done a couple of times and want to bring light to it is that whenever you're at the SoCal Joe Show, and you are usually stationed here, so 2 times a year you can catch him here. I've seen you do some shows up in Northern California and everything. But
Yeah.
one of the cool things that you did was you did the artwork for the SoCal Joe exclusive, one of a kind at this moment, custom figure.
Yeah, I do them for all of their classified lines.
Yeah.
I've done all of the classified box art. Yeah.
So this one is Burnout, a dreadnought.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I know in the classified line he has not came out yet.
No.
So this is kind of like one of those kind of rare kind of things. And I've seen, like, if you've been to the show, they've done Starduster. They did the last one was one of the Red October characters.
Yeah, October Guard. Yeah, it was
the
a
October
horror
Guard,
show. Yeah.
And so, like, that's also one of the cool things about attending this event is that there is a one of a kind kind of item that you can purchase that is handmade and basically just spear fronted by all the creatives around it.
Yeah, they're really nice too. I mean,
Yeah.
you take them out of the package, it feels like a factory produced figure. You know, you can play with it just like the other Joe classifieds, and it looks good. Is Burnout going to be made by Hasbro? Who knows? I mean, there's some dreadnoughts that are way more popular than him that haven't been gotten to yet. Like Thrasher is a great example. I mean, obviously he's coming. Zanzibar.
Yep. Zanzibar.
You know, so those are probably, I would think, would be further up on the list.
Yeah.
So,
but now here's the thing: they did Starduster, and then all of a sudden Hasbro.
Well,
all of a sudden, a couple of years later, Starduster popped up. So you may start seeing these characters pop up.
Some of that may be blamed on me and my conversations with Lenny.
Yeah, well,
so that might have been my fault.
Well,
That's awesome.
Anything that gets kind of the awareness through. Now, I know you and I have talked, and I'm not asking for anything exclusive or anything, but I know you've been toying around with this original creator-owned idea.
Yes.
How close to futation is that?
Very close. So I actually have it. So right now I'm deciding whether or not I want to do like individual monthly issues or just have it come out in graphic novel form.
Okay.
So the part of the problem is, and you've probably seen this in your travels, it's really hard to sell individual issues now.
Yes.
Yeah.
People they're expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, long gone are the days of 65-cent cover price. I mean, it's hard for any of us to go into a comic book shop and drop $7 on 28 pages. So I think doing like a 200 page like graphic novel and putting them out in volumes like that, to where it could be on a bookstore shelf and not just relegated to a comic book shop, I think may be the way to go. I have the stories all plotted out for what would have been like 48 issues.
Okay.
I do have thumbnails of probably 200, 250 pages.
Okay.
So, and then I have the first like 4 issues already completed. So, depending on how it goes, this year, you could see it early next year.
Okay. Now, I noticed there's a screenwriter out there that probably could do a couple of backup pages if you decide that you had to, I'm just saying, and
so
he probably wouldn't charge you to do it either, man.
So how I'm designing this is I'm basically creating a sandbox that my friends that are writers and artists can come play in.
Okay.
That's awesome.
There'll be opportunities for spin-off series.
Okay.
Spin-off miniseries that my friends that that I believe are incredible writers and incredible artists that just don't get work will have something that they can do.
Again, I know a guy. Well,
and I appreciate that.
No ways, man. Look, I always say this, and I know, like I said, they're wrapping up, and I want to keep you as much. But one of the better human beings that I know, you're a stellar individual.
Oh, you're talking about me?
I'm talking about you.
Yeah,
man.
I was trying to figure out where we were going with this. I was
Where
like, damn,
is this going?
he's not talking about me. I know that. He's got to be tough.
That's very kind of you.
First of all, stellar
do
human
deeply
being.
appreciate
Your
that.
wife is fantastic as
She
well.
is. She is.
It's always a pleasure to see at your show. You're usually the guy that when you walk in, you see a smile, and I think that is the presence that works well about you. especially because you see artists sometimes they're nose down and they don't. You really have a great sense
Oh
of
yeah, sure.
you catch people. It's just the generosity that I see.
Yeah, I think I was at your table one time, and I think someone was. I don't know if it was. I don't remember. It was something about a signature and like trying to give you a ton of money for the signature or something. Was it? I don't. Was it you maybe? Where you were just like
I don't typically charge.
yeah,
to sign
and you were
things.
kind. They were kind of like trying to figure out like why you wouldn't charge for a signature. Yeah.
Who am I? You
Yeah.
know, like I mean,
Yeah.
you bought the comic book.
Yeah.
You bought a print. Like, why would I charge you to sign it? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I'll
I'm not like I understand why
obviously
celebrities and stuff, charge or whatever. They don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
have anything like a picture. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
But no, you bought art for me. Even if you brought a comic book up,
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you to sign it. That's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Again, you see him at a show, buy a print.
Yep.
You will not regret it. It fits in frame extremely well. 11 by 17.
And
It's
it goes
always
on your
wonderful.
wall.
It does.
So
That's going
yeah,
well.
most of my prints are 13 by 19,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is still a standard size.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's Aaron's doing, because if I had my way, they'd be some weird sizes. I love drawing stuff that is weird
Yeah.
sizes,
Weird
like
size. Yeah.
4 by 22.
Yeah.
Like the really thin and
Do you
just
take
something that
do
would
you
look
take
interesting
custom
on the wall.
sizes? Like
What's
if I wanted to commission you to do a custom size.
Oh, I totally do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I
awesome.
love it. I love it. I did
Yeah.
this really cool like Andor and K2SO piece,
Okay.
and I was drawing it, and it started out on an 18 by 24 sheet,
Mm.
and I ended up cutting it down to like 11 by 24, and it's this long, thin.
That is
piece.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
Aaron's like, "How the hell are they going to frame that?" I'm like,
Someone
They'll-
likes it, they'll
honestly,
frame it.
figure it out.
Honestly, not my problem.
They'll
But
figure it out.
No, I love awkward shapes because
Yeah.
it just fills your wall in.
it's rad though,
Yeah,
right?
it's really cool.
It's really cool
Yeah.
when it's just not this standard size.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I love
On
those.
your-
Those are
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
What-
started out. I used to work in radio years ago.
Yeah.
In my early 20s, and I got the guys from the record company came in, and there was a one-man band called Primitive Radio Gods. Not
Okay.
Primitive Radio Gods. Was it Primitive Radio Gods? No, it wasn't Primitive Radio Gods. It was they did the song "Standing Outside a Phone Booth, a Broken Phone Booth with Money in My Hand."
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard that song. Anyway, the ad was really tall and very narrow, and I just fell in love with it. And it took me like 20 years to get that thing framed, but I love it on my wall. It's
Yeah.
like this really just interesting looking piece, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And so that, like, my entire life has inspired me to do shit on weird
Sizes.
Yeah.
So
sizes.
here's the thing: is you could technically start another side business for yourself and just only do things in a weird print that you also only sell the frames for. That way you could get double the money.
Yeah. Right.
So that would be awesome. Like, oh, it's
Framing
11
is
by
my side
36.
hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That's
Yeah,
you know,
but I
that's
do. I love to do weird shapes. There's some the Robotech. If you go
Yeah,
look at my Robotech
yeah.
book,
Uh-huh.
there's a couple in there. You'd be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow,
That's
okay.
great.
All right. Well, like I said, sir, we know we're cutting it down to you. We'll be back in December, but I'll talk to you way before then. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and again, I'll be anytime you need. You got my information.
Yes, yes. But yeah, so what you were saying about like how I know it for any artists that are out there listening that do shows,
Yeah.
it costs nothing to be kind
Yes.
to people.
Absolutely.
Just be. Everybody here is here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Just be nice to everybody. Like
Absolutely.
I agree.
I don't.
Absolutely. Well, like I said again, I will say probably one of the kindest men in comics. Thank you very much, sir, for
Stop.
coming.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you come in.
Always. I love
Appreciate
the
you.
shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually we made these
That's
for
rad.
for
Oh,
Toy Box Chronicles.
I made mine too. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there you go.
There you go.
There you-
There you go. Put it on the screen. There you
There
go.
it is. We'll swap shirts.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
send you one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
appreciate you. Love all your artwork, man. It's
Thank you.
fantastic. It's great. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for giving us some time
Yeah.
to
yeah,
chat with
absolutely.
you, and
Oh.
hopefully we make this a thing every time we show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
up
cool.
with Sullivan? And we'll have a whole intro for it. It'll be fucking great.
That would be rad.
Thank you,
awesome.
sir. Appreciate you popping on and everything. So that I know you're getting ready to bounce. So,
Yeah. Thank you guys.
you know, we'll see you for the next time, sir. Thank you so very
Thank
much
you.
for popping on.
Thank you guys.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day, man.
too.
You know, see that's the thing that we roll in and we have, like, you know, you can speak to artists, you can see a lot of you know, get opportunity to speak to people. That's the one thing about the SoCal Joe Show. There's so many that were like, you know, every now and then there's a writer from the Real American Hero show that's here. There's also voice artists. You have a shot if you remember these shows.
Yeah.
Remember the toys, remember the comics. This is the place to go because it is central to what you need. So, you know, again, we're winding it down.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap.
And you know what? Here's the thing, man. You know, we've enjoyed our time. Now, usually it's the SoCal Joe shows 2 times a year. We're trying to draw a lot more awareness. This will probably be one of our major homes.
Yeah.
For during the year, so you'll see a lot more live stream from us. But other than that, man, it's been a blast being here. We've got our Oddfrog guys over here at Fictitious Studios, and then we've also got Richard, who, God rest his soul, his KS Collectibles is right here as well. And you know, like I said, man, I mean, a great show, brother.
Yeah, man, it was good. I love this show. It's definitely going to be one. It's right up the street from us, so there's no point not to be here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as we go, this is literally our second time live streaming. Well,
Yes.
third time actually.
Yes.
This
definitely.
is the third time because we had one earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
But Wi-Fi sucks, so just everyone understand that if we can't get this to work, it's probably because internet sucks. Hey, look, we love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. We appreciate it. We are going to be doing this at even more conventions. Because we feel like everyone needs to be involved. And so all conventions, we started in the East, we're on the West, we'll work our way to Mid-East and Midwest and Upper South and North South and South North and all that crap. And hey, thanks for stopping by. We are SKN. This is the SoCal Joe Show in May the 4th. Be with you. And hey, Moocher and Sarlacc guys, we're excited to see you tonight. It's going to be fantastic. It's a toy drive, so if you can, head up there, follow us. We'll run with everybody. We appreciate you, and until next time, keep chasing that plastic dragon. And I got a bunch I got to go catch, so I'm gonna go catch.